Hello and welcome to this edition of Bison Talks Impact, coming to you from the Total Nonstop Impact Network. I am your host, Bison, and I am joined today by the infamous Rascal himself, Zachary Wentz. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Definitely. It's cool, man. It's really good to have you on. First off, I would like to congratulate you, obviously, on your long-awaited return to Impact Wrestling after your very emotional departure in 2020. What was it like entering the arena in Atlanta, listening to that crowd pop when they realized it was actually you coming into the ring?
Oh, dude, it felt so good. That's why we do this stuff, man. Wrestling is just like the biggest rush of adrenaline, especially because all throughout the day, like I couldn't sit down, I could barely eat, I was pacing, I was nervous, I was excited, and it was, and then to finally have that was just like, oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd, I'll tell you that it came off fantastic on TV. The crowd just went crazy. I think it was when they saw a green jacket kind of coming into the arena or coming through and then into the ring. And then I think when they actually realized it was actually you, then they just went crazy. It was really cool. I think if I was you at that moment, I'd been like, oh yeah, baby. No, I think it was pretty cool. Now, Zach, you joined Impact for the first time in 2018. Of course, at that time, that was with Trey and Des as the Rascals, as we know you as. At that time, it was kind of like a young upstart group that enjoyed hanging out and chilling in the Treehouse. But I have to ask, out of all the Treehouse guests back then that you guys had, who was your favorite? I've got mine. I'm interested to know what yours were.
Oh man, I don't know. There were so many good ones because we had Falaba who talked for the first time on TV in our Treehouse. Even though he was mean and beat us up, Moose, we produced comedy gold with Moose. And I don't know though. One of the sneak ones that I really enjoyed was Suicide, because you got to see another different side. I feel like the Treehouse honestly brought out so many different sides of these wrestlers and that you didn't necessarily get to see on TV. So, I don't know, man.
Do I remember one with Eli Drake? Didn't Eli Drake come in at one point as well? Or am I wrong there? Am I thinking something else? I know he did something with Falaba.
No, I don't think he ever was on.
No? Okay.
I don't think so.
I have to say, I think Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, RVD was probably. Yeah. Now that we're talking about it, yeah, because that was like, you know what he's about. You know what the Rascals were about. It was just a match made in heaven, and that's one of your guys that you grew up watching and loved and idolized for forever, and to be able to have the opportunity to work with someone like that was just like,
I mean, it had to be cool. And again, in his wheelhouse, of course, in his wheelhouse, which is exactly where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? So there was some cool stuff there. And you know what? I think that the Treehouse stuff was just so much fun. And I think you could see that the three of you really kind of, enjoyed having fun with that scenario. And I know that like when they first started out, it was kind of a little bit low key. And then as time go on, they realized people love this. You started to get a bit more production value. There's a little bit more fun, they put a little bit more time and effort into it, but you could tell you guys really enjoyed it. And that for me is what makes an amazing segment on any wrestling show. If a fan is watching that and they can see that you guys are really enjoying what you're doing, then you get more out of it, right?
Yeah, well, because the Treehouse was very much our idea. We did that for the first time at CZW back in 2017. We kind of did that thing. The promos online, the first ever one. And so they really entrusted us. They didn't, everything that you saw, like they'd give some points that we had to hit, obviously, but the rest of it was just me, Trey, and Des just putting in stuff that made us laugh throughout the week. You know what I mean? Like we'd just be traveling the road and something would pop us and we'd be like, oh, dude, we definitely have to say that, like in the Treehouse. We got to do, So it was very much our creative minds. And it also helped having Jimmy Jacobs, who maybe we would have some ideas and just didn't know how to capitalize on it. But Jimmy's mind for promos and backstages and all that, so great. He would help elevate it to get to that next level. And it was just a recipe for, I mean, what I like to call it greatness. I loved the Treehouses, but
they were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun, and I think what was very clear in there was that you guys clearly had, that you've got a flair for the theatrics. I think we could safely say that. And of course, as we all know, a big part of being a professional wrestler is, of course, the theatrical side of it. There's the selling the character, the promo side of it, and making us really care about you guys. And there's one thing for sure that I think that the entire Impact fan base can say is that they care about the Rascals. They loved the Rascals. There was no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry that we're mean guys now.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a second because this is good shit. This is good stuff. So now, of course, I did mention as well that you had that emotional, when you left in 2020, yourself and Des left. It was very, very emotional moment, and where you left your jackets over the ring ropes and all that kind of stuff, and you can tell it meant like an awful lot to you guys. Now, could you? You're probably not going to be able to, but could you maybe put it into words how you felt, like basically that very last moment that you were walking out of that building?
Oh no, I can definitely tell you how I felt because I still remember it like it was yesterday, man. It was a little crushing, because Impact was the first TV company to take a risk for 3 young kids. At that time, we weren't like the biggest names. We weren't, we were making waves on the indies and all around the world and stuff, but we weren't TV superstars. And Impact helped us grow into superstars, and so just we did so much in those 2 years and grew so much, not only as professionals, but we grew as human beings. That's like a prime 2 years of your life where you need to grow and learn lessons. And Impact taught us that, man. And, especially because there's so many people there that we loved, that I considered family. And it's kind of scary to have to leave those people that you're comfortable with and family to go on to other places. And but yeah, dude, it was crushing, but at the same time, it was blissful knowing that we left knowing that like we gave everything we could.
Yeah. I totally get that. Now, since your return to the independent scene in 2022, you returned to basically to become a solid mainstay to one of my favorite indie promotions, which I talk about quite regularly when I do these interviews. Obviously, Pro Wrestling Revolver, and boy. With the addition, obviously, of Myron Reed, the young goat as part of the Rascals, you guys have been absolutely tearing it up. What I would say was a very more aggressive, shall I say, heelish edge. Still with that sort of kind of sense of humor, but you're certainly a bit more aggressive, a bit more heely. But it did include some great matchups, I believe, with Motor City Machine Guns and, of course, the current Impact champs, ABC. Now, is this one of the reasons for your return? Basically getting your hands on ABC, getting your hands on those belts, and of course the belts that you never actually managed to capture them the first time around.
Bingo! That's like, to me, that's the biggest thing. Besides, like, obviously showing that the Rascals are still one of the greatest teams, factions, groups, quattros, trios, whatever you want to call us, our name still carries weight in this business. And I have a big chip on my shoulder because we never did win those tag team championships. And I've always wanted them. You look at the lineage of those titles, you know, you got the Lucha Brothers, you got LAX, you have Motor City Machine Guns, you have just everyone, Beer Money, you got, you know, and for us to like never get them, it always stung, you know, because people want to say, oh, people don't look online. Yeah, we all look online. You see that people say like, oh, well, the Rascals actually never held the championships here. It's surprising. Why did that never happen? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen. It has to. That's first and foremost. Like, I want those championships.
Right, that makes perfect sense to me, and of course, I think I always felt actually back in back in your first run, guys, that it was possibly the fact that you weren't kind of as aggressive, or kind of maybe you just need that little bit of an edge to get that killer blow to take it to the next level. So I'm hoping that this version that we're seeing now with the Rascals is going to have that little bit of edge, that little bit of going to take it to the next level, going to do what it takes to get those straps. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, at this point, I'm just going to say Rascals ain't taking no shit. Like, sorry for the curse words, but we're getting what's rightfully ours, what should have been ours a long time ago. And
it's gonna happen.
Sorry if we gotta hurt some feelings, step on some toes, but nah, dog,
I get it. I definitely get it. Now, with regards, I did mention earlier, there's actually 3 Rascals. So with regards to Myron Reed, the 3rd Rascal brother, do you think we may get to see the arrival of him on Impact at some point, possibly, or is?
I'm not management. I can't say anything about that. I would love to have Myron, and people like to think that we just added Myron. No, Myron's been a Rascal this whole time. When we first came up with the idea of the Rascals, it was all 4 of us. And so he's been our brother this whole time. It's just we took separate paths at one point, but now we're back together and we're stronger than ever. And man, I want him at Impact so bad.
Yeah, I think the 3 of you guys would absolutely tear it up. I've been a massive fan of Myron for many years, from his MLW days, and incredible talent. So I would love to see him turn up at some point. Would be pretty amazing to get all 3 of you guys just rascaling it, healing it right up. It would be pretty cool. Now, you debuted as a professional wrestler back in 2014. Now, I'm very keen to know which promotion that was, and who you faced, and how did you think that match went? Because I asked this question quite a lot, and I get some very interesting answers.
It was 2014. It was in December. I always get the date wrong. I always have to remind myself. It was either December 17th or 14th. I think in my mind wants to go to 14, but I'm pretty sure it was December 17th, 2014. It was myself and another trainee at the time at Rockstar Pro Wrestling versus a guy named Benjamin Chimera and Jared Harris. Dude, I don't know. I was a young kid. I was like 140 pounds. I didn't really know what I was doing. I did, but I didn't. I just went out there, did some flips, and got beat up. But they were very gracious and giving to me. And I do appreciate those guys, because that kind of sparked, it's great when you're young in the business and there's veterans that help you and actually want you to grow and learn, because that's the only way that this business gets better is by people giving. And there's a lot of veterans that would have just seen a young kid and been like, yeah, no, you're not doing anything. Like you just chill. We'll take care of the rest. But no, they were very giving to me, let me do my thing. Let me get in like a running shooter or something like that. So I was very happy.
Sounds good. No, I'm pleased because I know that I've had it interesting. Like Jake, I've had on a couple of times, and Jake remembers his first match being in some kind of just like random like butcher's like, yard or something, and something crazy, and he, it
it's a
just
barn.
stunk, and and all sorts of stuff like that. It's like, it was horrific, and I was terrible. But yeah, but
I wasn't good by any means. I wasn't, I could do a couple flippity doos and stuff like that, but when you're young, you just got to learn. It's like,
you just got to go with it. You got to go with it.
Trial by fire.
So, if Zachary Wentz was not a pro wrestler, what do you think you would have been?
Oh man, I probably still would be doing mixed martial arts, because that's what I did before I got into pro wrestling. I probably would have still done that. But I don't know. I was going to school to be a special education teacher with like a major in autism, or a specialization in autism.
Cool.
But then I just, like, school wasn't for me. So I left and I started doing fighting, because that's like, I did combat sports my whole life, and that just was second nature to me. And then, until one day I was just like, you know what? I want to be a pro wrestler. It was actually because of fighting why I became a pro wrestler. Well, I had the opportunity, that's the sole reason. But
of course, yep.
There's a local promotion came to our school and wanted to have a special guest enforcer, special guest referee, like an MMA guy to keep the peace or whatever. And my trainer, Matt Dunahey, at the time, he knew I was a huge pro wrestling fan. He knew I loved it. And he was like, well, why don't you just go do this? Like, you're the only person that I think would actually enjoy doing it. So I went to the show and kind of saw the ins and outs of how wrestling worked and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like, I definitely can do this. And it wasn't very long after that first time where I was like, yep, I'm going to do it. And started training with my buddy, Clayton Gaines. And yeah.
So it sounds like it was meant to be. It was destiny. It was destiny for you to eventually become a Rascal, which is where we're at, man. Now, over the last few months, we've seen some incredible tag team wrestling at Impact Wrestling. In fact, for me, some of the best tag team wrestling is on Impact Wrestling, without doubt. I mean, obviously, we've got teams like ABC, Machine Guns. We've got the Good Hands at the moment. More recently, Subculture from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Are looking forward to tearing it up. Are you looking forward to tearing it up with these teams in Impact?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously, myself and Trey have worked, the Motor City Machine Guns and ABC. Well, we worked ABC all across the world. I was in a ladder match with Subculture at 1PW over in the UK, and I got a little taste of that, and I want some more, man. Those guys are great. I definitely want Rascalz versus Subculture. And then the Good Hands, Jason Hotch is my wrestling nephew. Trey Miguel is his trainer. And so I want to wrestle my baby boy again. We've been in the ring one time. It was myself and Trey versus him and Sam Beal, and I want to do it again.
Fair play. Fair. I think there's some fantastic tag teams in Impact now, and I can see some incredible matchups, and I just cannot wait. But this has been a real pleasure talking to you today, Zach, and I'm so excited to see what the next is for you, and of course the Rascals in the coming weeks and months, what is shaping up to be a very, very interesting 2023 for Impact Wrestling, that's for sure. But I'm afraid this is all I've got time for today. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed listening to my guest today, because I've certainly enjoyed talking to him. Zach, would you like to let the TNI Army know where they can keep up to date with all things going on with you, and of course the Rascals, on the socials, and where they can get your merch, more importantly?
Yeah, so my Twitter is at Zachary Wentz. That's more of just business. I post my show flyers and stuff like that. My Instagram, excuse me, my Instagram is at Zachary Wentz Official. That's where you can be let into my life a little bit. I post more personal stuff. I still post wrestling stuff, but that's where you get to get in my life. And then I just dropped that jacket that you saw on Impact. I just dropped that on stiffblade.com. Those guys are amazing. He's been absolutely incredible. The design that he came up with is top notch. And we just also dropped a new shirt on there as well. So be on the lookout. Actually, yeah, be on the lookout for that. That's on the website, I do believe. Yeah. And there's going to be more stuff coming soon. So just be prepared.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I think I'm gonna have a very full shopping cart by the sound of it. But guys, don't forget to follow the Bison on Twitter at Lord Bison 45, and make sure to follow the Total Nonstop Impact Network on at We Talk Impact, which is available on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to your favorite impact related shows. If you enjoyed this interview and want to see more, please consider subscribing, giving the bell a bit of a tickle, or maybe one of these. Could give it one of these, baby. A Rascal, give it a Rascal. To never miss any of the fresh impact-related content coming each and every week. Until next time, this has been Bison Talks Impact with the super talented Rascal himself, Zachary Wentz. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much. Also, Slammiversary is coming soon.
Don't forget Slammiversary.
Coming soon. Watch Impact on Access TV or DAZN.
Bad Bison.